Okay, hello. We're going to do a decode on Statler Toyota in Back to the Future, but I'm just going to look at the name Statler. This is off of a comment by Decoder Ring in my last one. Well, I say my last video a little while back now, but 2 weeks ago actually. One rejection isn't the end of the world, and it's looking at the number 59 in this scene in the Save the Clock Tower scene. Okay. But where we're at on this scene is we are, let me show you, I don't really want to play any of this, but this area here where the van is pulling out of, let's just click through it a little bit. Okay, you can see the Statler here, and here's the Western Auto number 9. Okay, so, and across here, somewhere over here, is when Marty makes his jump back. You know, they've got the wire strung across the street, and this is basically where the fire trails kind of start right through here. Okay, so anything really in the background here is going to be fairly interesting, yeah, because that idea of making the jump back home, that's what is going on right now. Yeah, the apocalypse is the idea of coming out of the matrix and returning back to God. Okay, so you know, anything that's like I said, anything that's in the background here is going to be pretty interesting. And of course, we've got Statler Toyota, and note that the Statler and the Toyota are in slightly different colors of red. This is Statler's in a brighter color of red. I would say a more of a blood color red. Okay, so that would lead me to look at that thing first, and it's also separated kind of with the color difference here. So again, this idea of maybe just looking at Statler by itself. Okay. Anyway, let's go to this comment that got me going on this little rabbit hole, and this is thank you Decoder Ring. Okay. Decoder Ring had some great information here, and I'm just gonna read out what he's got. It's in the comments under this video, so you can go and look for yourself if you want. And I don't know if he left any other comments on Statler, I'm not sure, but anyway, we'll just stick with this one for now. And I'm going to expand on this, hopefully expand on this pretty good. And we're going to, you know, this is the start of the rabbit hole here, and we'll go down it together here now. So he's got the Statler Hotel in Buffalo, New York, being New York State, was built 100 years ago in 1923. E.M. Statler's first hotel, named Statler's Hotel, was built at the grounds of the Pan American Exposition of 1901. Okay, got a nice 911 already. At the exposition was a display of electric lights. Okay, the electricity was transmitted from generators at Niagara Falls by alternating current wire system designed by Nikola Tesla for the city of Buffalo earlier in 1896. Okay, so it gets more interesting than just 1901. President McKinley was shot at the Pan American Exposition on 9/6/1901, okay, and died on the 14th, okay. And then he goes on to mention some stuff about the Statler in Dallas, which you can read. I'm not looking at this in this decode down the bottom here with there's probably more to it with this bit of information about the one in Texas, but we're looking at the one in Buffalo right now, okay? Because this is where I see some really nice connections at the minute. Anyway, so what have we got going on here? We've got electricity being generated by by water, so it's hydro-powered electricity, okay? Which is interesting because what we're looking at, what we've been doing is talking about the destruction of the Hoover Dam, which again is a hydroelectric power plant, right? So we've got this connection with the generation of power and water being used, okay? So there's a nice connection. Now, President McKinley, okay, being shot at this exposition where Statler's first hotel is built, okay? he's not shot in the hotel. He's shot at a different area, but it's at the exposition, okay? And he's shot on 9/6, so the 6th of September, right? And he dies on the 14th. So already we're seeing some pretty nice correlation here between what Doc's potential death was in Back to the Future 3, which was, again, this may be a reference back to this idea, you see, using President McKinley here as a reference with Doc, because Doc is going to be shot on the 5th of September at the little town dance thing, okay? And he's going to take 2 days to die, right? In the film, the gravestone has I think it's the 7th of September on it. But we find out that he's supposed to get shot at the dance on the 5th, okay? Again, Marty saves him with the frisbee pie plate, okay? So we have this idea of a delayed death there, okay, which is what we have with President McKinley, okay? He takes him several days to die of gangrene from the gunshot wound, okay? So this is pretty interesting that we have that synchronicity in Back to the Future as well, okay? Or it's just, copied or whatever, but it's that connection. So already we're getting some nice connections there. So I'm thinking, well, the first thing we need to do is we're going to go check out President McKinley and see what his birthday is, and we know his death date, the 14th of September, which I already know is an interesting number connected to what we're looking at right now, the numbers we're looking at right now, which is for Madonna is 923, and for the Hoover Dam is 929. So I'm going to show you those connections in the chart of Lorraine, and we need to also go through, because it's a little bit more, there's more depth to this, okay? Because I was actually looking through, let's go through the pictures of the hotels, because this gets really interesting, right? So this is the first hotel here. Let's click on the pictures. So this is this is the grounds of the 1904. What the hell is this? This is something different. Anyway, I don't know what that is. I tell a lie. I don't really know what the hell I'm talking about. Here we are. Well, I'm guessing this is the hotel here. Again, it's a pavilion type Twin Towers thing. 1901. So this must be it anyway. This is the first hotel, okay? But this is only a temporary thing. This gets knocked down fairly quickly after the exposition, okay? So what we want to do is we want to go to the first proper hotel now. That is well, this is the first proper hotel that Statler builds in Buffalo, if I could get my words out. Okay, so you'll notice immediately that there's something extremely fascinating about this hotel. I'm going to leave you a second just to see if you can spot it. I'm not talking about it just being on Washington and Swan Streets, okay? The fact that it's on Washington is just, again, you can't write this stuff, okay, with the reference to the dollar bill. And of course, Buffalo itself, the Buffalo Bills, that reference to the dollar bill, and also that logo, and you'll find it on other logos in Buffalo, is the bison, okay? So that's not really a true buffalo. It's the American bison. Obviously, in the rest of the world, a buffalo is probably a water buffalo, which is a different looking animal, okay? But there is that idea of the connection between water buffalo, and then we go to bison, and then with bison, I'm thinking breaking that name down with the by, which is two, and then two suns. Okay, you know, the fictional sun, the metaphysical thing that controls us. Okay, the legal fictional entity, person that controls the physical um, sun. Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm already getting in waffly land here. So if you had a look at this thing, and if you notice the tops of this building, because I'm going to tell you something that's really interesting here in a second. You know, you see these Gothic arches here, yeah? I know people are screaming at the thing, at the video now. Dan, it reminds me of the bottom of the World Trade Center with the kind of Gothic arch that then, you know, the devil's pitchfork, 3 into 1 here. But this, it kind of is reminiscent of the, find the right thing again now. It is kind of reminiscent of the bottom of the World Trade Center. This is almost like just the bottom part of it, and then just add on another 100 stories up here or whatever, and you'd be pretty close, you know. What's really interesting about this is this hotel is actually demolished in 1968, the year that they start building Tower 1, you know. So that's mental. I think that's mental that this thing is being demoed at the time they're starting the Twin Towers, basically. And we've got, like, this is just looks like the bottom of the blooming Twin Towers. I mean, it's just mental. So there's that connection, right? But it gets better. It gets even better, okay, because we had the Washington Street there. So this is the second hotel they built in Buffalo. Okay, this is still standing now. Okay, this was really what I saw this picture, and I'm like, I'm gonna do the decode. You know, I'd read Decoder Ring's comment, awesome stuff, but I wasn't really, you know, I got motivated enough to come and look at some pictures of it, of the Statler stuff, and when I saw this picture in particular, I'm like, I got to do it, because we have an obelisk here, okay, you know, as is the Washington Monument and obelisk, okay, we have this going on here, and to top it off, this building looks like 3 separate towers, just like we had 3 separate towers come down on 9/11. So I'm already like, you know, I've made the jump to come and have a quick look because of Decoder Ring, and now I'm like, oh, there's got to be something to this. There's got to be something more to this, you know. There's got to be with you know, this thing looking like this, right? Anyway, this is actually, guess what this is? Okay, guess what it is? This is actually the monument that they put up for President McKinley. Okay, so this is now, you know, oh look, it's 29 meters tall as well, and it's 96 foot again with the 9/6. Probably they did it 96 foot because he died on 9/6, but why did he die on 9/6? You know, again, 29 meters, maybe, I don't know, maybe that's why he died. That's maybe why they picked the date, because they knew they were going to make the thing 96 foot tall. They knew it would be 29 meters, and it's a 29 reference, maybe. So we'll shoot McKinley on. We'll shoot him on 9/6. You know, I don't know. You know. Anyway, this is it in front of City Hall. I tell you what, this reminded me kind of the middle part of this building. Kind of reminded me of the Ghostbusters Tower, actually. Let's click on it. This part in the middle here, not the whole thing, but it just kind of gave me that feeling of the Ghostbusters Tower. Anyway, this is his monument. Okay, so we can do all the. I don't really want to spend a whole bunch of time on this. I wanted to point that 29 out. and I'll do that in a minute. But what I want to do, let's do some of these dates that are in here. And actually, let's see if this is. Hang on a second. Let me just see. Okay. Oh, and this was the other interesting thing. Actually, I read somewhere else. It doesn't say it right here. It says that Pilot Field, which is just a baseball field, was built there in 1988, where this first Statler Hotel was demolished in '68, and then it remained, ready to build on until 1986. The '68, the '86 double reference there, sort of thing. Okay, so before we get too crazy, let's just click through these pictures and see if I can find the one that I wanted to really show you. Okay, this from the top is pretty good. So that monument is over here where my cursor is somewhere, I think. And what you'll notice as well is that the top of this building is the buildings at the three towers are actually connected at the back. And so if you look down on it, it's a big letter E, or it's the number 3. So of course E is number 5 in the alphabet. So there's a nice 3-5 reference here. Okay, and there's some stuff with the street numbers and names as well behind. We're not going to do that right now. But there's 3-5 reference. Okay, and our 8,035, which day jump from 9/11 2001, which brings us to 22 years later, 9/11 this year, 2023. And then when we go on the extra 18 days now, that takes us to 8,053 days. Did I say 53 or 35? I don't know. Anyway, it was 8,035 days through to 8,053 days. Oh, blimey now. I need to stop doing videos late at night, but it just is what it is. Anyway, let's look at the dude that has the that started the company. Ellsworth Milton. Again, Milton shows up in that. He's got the coon hat on. Okay, in the grandparents scene in Back to the Future, where Marty's grandmother asks him if he likes meatloaf, So there's another little Milton reference. But check out the birthday of this dude. Again, October the 26th, a 126 reference again, but again on the time circuits, October the 26th. Okay, this dude is also, which a lot of people would find interesting. Oh, somewhere in here. Maybe it's not in here. But anyway, this dude's a 33-degree Mason, I think. Says somewhere. So again, there's a reason probably why these buildings are built in certain designs. Okay. So the first hotel, we have the Twin Tower reference and then the demolition of it. The second hotel, we have a 53 reference. We have again 3 towers, again harking back to 9/11 as well. But we also have a Washington Monument style obelisk there as well. Okay, for President McKinley. Okay, so not only do we have this on the time circuits, but if we go to President McKinley now, we find President McKinley down. I don't think we need to do the assassination. Here he is. Here's the man himself. And let's have a look. Where's his birthday? It is January the 29th. Okay, 1843. We're not really looking at the years. Not really, even though 43 is pretty interesting itself. But January the 29th through to September the 14th. Let's go to the chart of reign and I'll explain those two numbers to you. Okay, so January the 14th. Okay, now you know, if you watch my stuff, you know that there's a cross in here that I've done quite a lot of decoding with, and I think it's pretty important. Okay, and within that there are certain number jumps. Okay, so if we look at this first set of number jumps, which is 7,810 days, so if we take these numbers here, we can do that number jump from 9/11, and it takes us to 9/11/2001, takes us to the 29th of January. Okay, so that's already starting looking interesting there, connecting to the president there. Okay, it gets more interesting because if we do the next number jump, which is actually 7,910 days, which makes these two jumps 100 days apart, it actually takes us to this 5/9 date right here. Okay, it is the 9th of May. Okay, and again, this is the 129th day of the year now. Okay, so we see this connection with 5/9, these two sets of number jumps in here. Okay, from 9/11, and the 129 getting referenced quite a bit. And the 129 is important because if we get rid of this a minute, again, you know, the 1 is really what's at the center of this table. Okay, we're trying to balance, these are the numbers here that is really at the center of the table, and really what we want is number 1. It's actually a number 11 that's amalgamated together. Okay, and so of course 129 is super important. I'm not going to go through explaining it all every single time I do a video, but if you watch from my other stuff, you all know what I'm saying. Okay, anyway, so we're getting quite nice references to the number 29 and to this number jump, the 5/9 again. I mean, pretty mental, really, I think. But again, what am I doing? But again, what I'm looking at here is, again, I was saying we go to this, it takes us to this 5/9 day here, these two number jumps, right? Again, he dies on 9/14. Okay, I mean, we've got two dates coming across here, yeah, with the number jumps from 9/11, which reference his birthday. Okay, that reference to his birthday is this day as well, 5/9. Okay, and he dies on this day. I mean, come on, I don't know what else to say, really. It's just super duper interesting. So, what else did I have for this? What else did I have for this decode? Because I'm kind of getting tired now. Let's go back to this a minute, and let's go back through some of this stuff, just make sure I haven't missed anything. The name McKinley, I'm sure some people have already made this connection now watching this video and saying, hang on a minute, Dan, isn't Matt's last name McKinley? And this, I'm talking about Matt from Quantum of Conscience, right? Yes, it is, because I've got a thing up here. Right, here we are. Quantum of Conscience, okay, and it's Matt McKinley, okay? And Matt does an awful lot of stuff on, this is just a random connection here, but Matt does an awful lot of stuff on, it's like retro causality. He talks about that quite a bit. I haven't watched Matt for ages, but and goes on about the Mandela effect quite a bit, or used to. And again, the Mandela effect. Okay, let's connect back now with this surname McKinley back to quite a big truth channel, I would say, because truth channels really aren't that big. They don't really have huge numbers on them. Again, this is on this day. This is the 29th of not got it up here, but it's the 29th of September. Stan Berenstain, okay, American's children's author of the Berenstain or whatever the hell bears. Okay, so we have this sort of Mandela effect thing, and I've talked about the Mandela effect before, connecting with some interesting dates. Nelson Mandela himself, I can't remember his birthday, but I'm sure it's I want to say it's an 8-1 reference, but I can't remember now. But yeah, there's some interesting stuff with Nelson Mandela. Okay, but this this little connection, right, to this idea. And after I did that last video with the Who's That Girl date changing, yeah, from 923, sorry, 623, okay, and then the release date changing to 629, okay, and I was making that connection, just flipping the 6 to the 9. You know, again, we've got a 6-9 reference here with the McKinley thing as well, 6 to the 9. I just thought it was interesting with the Berenstein, the way Matt goes on about the Mandela effect and retro causality, and I mean that's a video for another day, but it's just an interesting connection. Again, it's just the way things work, isn't it? Have I got anything else here? What have I got? Yeah, check the gun out. This is the gun is a. Where is the gun? Oh, that's where he got shot. The Temple of Music. Okay, that's kind of interesting. Gosh, where's the gun? I thought I had something on the gun in here. Hang on a second, because I thought the gun was interesting. That's really annoying me now. I can't find that. It's maybe on another tab. Anyway, not to worry. It was a something Johnson. Sure, it was something Johnson. Was there anything else? Well, hope you enjoyed that one. We'll call it a day on that. Yeah, hope you enjoyed it, and well, I'll do another one here soon.